Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be my April wrap up, and I'm going to say quickly beforehand I've not had much time to read many fun books as it is my essay period at university. So of course the first book that I read this month was Lady Midnight by Clare. I did do quite a long book talk on it a few weeks ago, just at the beginning of April. So if you do want to go and watch that and find out more about it, then I will link it below. Again, loved this book. I think I gave it a 9 out of 10 rating, and I will explain why it didn't get a 10 in my video. I am expecting great things from the sequel, and I'm just so excited to read it. This is the first book in the new Shadowhunters trilogy, so if you haven't read any of Cassandra Clare's books yet, why not? Just go and buy them. Just go and get them. They're amazing. The second book that I read this month was Red Queen. I did my book review of Red Queen last week, so if you want to go and check that out as well and see what I thought of it, then you can do. I did really like this book. I am going to order Glass Sword once I have gotten through my extensive TBR list, because I keep buying books and not reading them, so I should probably get to them at some point. I will read everything that I intend to read. It's just taken me a while to get through these books while at university, because as you will see in a minute, everything that I have is very much university based. As I said, I've been reading a lot more course books than fun books, but they are still really fantastic novels as well. They're some of the best literature I've ever read. There's not really much else to say. These are books that were on my Gothic module. I've been doing the Romantic Age a lot this year. So the first book on that list is The Monk by Matthew Lewis. This is quite a dark story. It's, as you can see, about a monk called Ambrosio who falls into temptation. It's a very graphic book. It was written in like 1796, I think. Yes, 1796. There's supernatural elements as well. It's a take on Anne Radcliffe's The Mysteries of Udolpho. If you haven't read that, you should read that as well. There are so many Gothic books that I wish I could recommend to you right now, and if you want me to do a video on Gothic literature that I've enjoyed, then comment as well, because that would be a video that I'd quite like to do actually, so let me know. The next book on my list is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. If you haven't read this at some point in your academic life or just read it, then you need to. Frankenstein is such an important book. Like it's Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley is such an incredible writer, and I don't understand why people haven't read this book. I read this a few years ago. I never studied it at high school or college. It was never on my syllabus, but I read it because it was just incredible. Mary Shelley wrote this when she was like 16 to 18. Like, I wish I had that talent. Everyone should read Mary Shelley. Everyone. The next book, I've just realised, I tried to sneak some noodles into the library because you're not allowed to eat hot food in there, and I put the box of noodles, which was covered in barbecue sauce, in my bag and forgot that it was in there, and I lay my bag down on the floor, and obviously the sauce started to leak out and it kind of got all over my book. And I'm gutted actually because this cover is so nice. It's one of the Penguin Library editions, and it's ruined now. But anyway, this is The Private Memoirs and Confessions of a Justified Sinner. This is quite a confusing book. The narrative voice shifts between the editor and Robert Ringham. But I can't get over the barbecue sauce. It's a fantastic book though. It follows the story of Robert Ringham, who meets Gil Martin, who has chameleon-like abilities. So he's able to change his appearance and kind of understand the emotional mindset of the person he's studying. So it's a lot about how Robert kind of descends into sin. He does think that he is destined for heaven, so whatever sins that he commits, basically, he will get away with. That's kind of how the story follows. There's a lot of death and stuff, and it's just a really good book, and especially if the doppelganger interests you, then this is a really good book to read. As you can see, it's still got my little tabbies in from my essay writing. The next book I have was on my romanticism module. Again, it is Mary Shelley. It's called The Last Man. It follows kind of like an apocalyptic narrative. She set it in the 21st century, when kind of like there's this viral outbreak and it calls into question politics and the revolutionary period. She wrote this kind of towards the end of the French Revolution, so there's a lot of question in there about political revolution and personal relationships as well. A lot of her characters are based off her friends and her family. So one of the main characters is based off her husband, Percy Shelley, and there's a Byronic figure. This was also written in a very dark period of Shelley's life, around the time that Percy Shelley dies and she loses a child. Mary Shelley experienced a lot of death in her life, and it's very evident in her novel. It's a very, very well written book. The woman knew how to write good literature. I love Mary Shelley. I think she's an incredible writer. Yeah, incredible. So also for another essay this term, I've been reading a lot of John Clare's poetry. John Clare was a romantic poet. He was deemed the peasant poet of the Romantic age as well. He was disregarded a lot, and he has such fantastic poetry. He was a labourer as well for most of his life, before he went mad. You see through his poetry the decline of his life, and I think I really like John Clare as a poet. I think he just wrote incredible work. Like, I've been reading the differences between his earlier poems, when he was younger in his 20s, to later in his life when he's incarcerated and he's in Epping Forest and Northampton Asylum, and it's just, he has some really beautiful imagery there, and you get the voice of that kind of the disregarded genius. It was again in a revolutionary period of England when the life of farmers and rural workers were vastly changing. He went through so many struggles in his life. You know, he lived so many lives in one life, and I just think the question of his sanity is incredible. There is no conclusive diagnosis. In my downtime when I'm trying to separate myself between essays, I've been reading some of my Jabberwocky, which is the collection of Lewis Carroll's poetry. I love nonsense poetry as well. I think it's fantastic, and some of the poetry in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass are my absolute favourites. There is the album Almost Alice that came out with the release of the film in 2010. A lot of the music on that album is people reciting Lewis Carroll's poetry. There's one called You Are Old Father William, which is such a fantastic poem. I've got it in my head now. Look at this cover, it's beautiful. It's just really beautiful poetry. There's a lot of speculation, nonsense, just ridiculousness about it, and it's really nice to read to kind of get yourself out of your head. This making of this video is my way of avoiding going to the library to do my work. Yeah. Uni is hard, guys. I am so drained. And my deadline is next Wednesday. I'm gonna have to try and fit in a video like the day before. And if not, I will probably upload on Wednesday after I have handed in my essays. And I can just kind of like just show you the sheer happiness of finishing university before I have to do it again next year. I will see you all next week. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyway. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I upload videos every Tuesday, possibly Wednesday next week after my deadline. But yes, I will see you soon. Bye!